was the second but yeah. Bottom line being, we cannot, for the life of us, move on to another topic until and unless we talk about the coronavirus updates. So here we go. Without wasting any more time, without any further ado, we have the first news about coronavirus, and that is that there are a few fake tests out there. Now, this isn't really something that's caught much traction, but it is something that if you dig deep enough, you'll find out that it's been I think somewhere around 150 to 200 cases in which people have been tricked into paying copious amounts of money for tests that would never have worked in the first place. So they came out negative, people got fake reassurance of some sort, and I guess that is good for some people in terms of calming your nerves about it if you didn't have it. But then again, what if you did and you took one of these tests and it came out negative and you went and exposed a bunch of people to yourself, only to then be the sole proprietor of spreading corona into your entire group or your family or your immediate circle? So that's scary. It's scary enough to the point in which you don't want to be that person. No, you don't. You don't want to be then affiliated with that kind of ordeals. Self-quarantining is therefore super essential. In times like these, you got to understand that there are better things to do. There are. Stay home. Figure out something you like doing. Make music. Make podcasts. Make art. Take pictures. Perspective photography, okay? For those of you photographers out there, perspective photography, come on. You can never go wrong with that one. There's enough in your house that you could put a different angle to, and with the camera gear that you have, I'm pretty sure that you can get some amazing pictures. So do that. You need not step out to get what you can get inside as well. Creativity knows no bounds, alright? So stay where you are, stay safe, and then do something creative, productive, whatever sails your boat. But make sure you do something. Now, moving past that, another thing that's been coming up recently, and this is exactly why the whole conspiracy thing came into this picture, is the fact that there is news looming about that China is doing some research on blood groups. And according to their research, which is still in its primitive state, they've tested around 2,000 patients, and that's their database. And from that, they figured out that blood groups that are A are more susceptible to corona, and blood groups that are O are less susceptible to corona. Now, this isn't backed by the WHO, it isn't backed by sustainable proof or whatever, but it's a thing that's out there. And if you're digging deep enough, you would have come across this yourself. Now, clearly, in the state of pandemic, the world shut down. There are lockdowns everywhere throughout the globe. One of the first countries to shut it all down was Italy, subsequently followed by a bunch of other nations. Recently, we heard that the UK shut down, United States shut down, China has already been in lockdown for a while, South Korea. Most of the world where cases are abundant are considering lockdowns because everyone wants to try and keep their populations safe, which is understandable. In a time like this, you never know what you might be in contact with that might ultimately deliver you that virus. It could be anything and anything at this point in time. Furthermore, the government of India has suspended all domestic flights. So for the first time since I've been born, there will be no planes in the sky. Until further notice, all domestic flights have been suspended and essentially barring everyone to where they are. Now I hope and pray that everyone from India is with their families, with their relatives, with their close people, if not family. And I hope that everyone's doing something that's keeping them safe from being exposed. Now, the biggest thing that was coming out from the travel agents, from the travel industry, essentially before this news came out, was the fact that there's been upwards of an 85 to 90% contraption rate. If you're traveling in an enclosed vacuum-packed chamber, yeah, it makes sense that the virus would make its way about the plane. Even if a single person was tested positive and you were on the same flight as that said person, you would then be held in quarantine as well. It would not matter if you tested positive or not. In that moment, even if you had an elevated body temperature or not, you would still be in quarantine, and that's that. It's as simple as that. So that's another thing that's been going on. Domestic flights have been suspended, so wherever you are in India, you are stuck there until further notice. And I hope that everyone's safe and sound and comfortable and secure. It's times like these where you never know what to expect next. And the one thing that is really nice to see is that communal harmony comes back in full swing at times like these. No one's looking at Hindu Muslims, the color of your skin, the languages you speak or you don't speak, the places where you were born or you weren't born, all this, you're not from this state, get out of this state, all of that mentality, all of that jibber jabber, that's out the window. And that's something that speaks volumes about the true nature of what it means to be human. Now, another thing on a lighter note, because we're going to keep this platform and this show concise. I don't want it to be longer than 10 minutes. I want it to be short, sweet, compact, gives you the information you need, gives you enough time thereafter to form your own opinions and figure things out on your own. This is just a prompt to give you a heads up about what's up, what's not, what you should pay attention to and what you shouldn't. So I'm essentially trying and filtering out some of the information before I say it on here. So that being said, on a lighter note, the entertainment game is up and running. Now, most of these daily shows or talk shows, most of them have gone on hiatus. But then again, there are shows that have changed their formats, like the Daily Show with Trevor Noah. They changed their format altogether to make a show entirely away from one another, in terms of they don't have to be in the same studio spaces, but through smart editing, it's a show nevertheless. John Oliver put out a piece on the coronavirus. I believe this was his second piece, and they went in detail about how their entire production space, their studio, was exposed to someone who tested positive. So there's that. And multiple other shows. But where everything distinguishes is the fact that podcasts and people who are venturing into live streams has never been bigger than ever before. Podcasts are doing numbers that we couldn't have imagined. Now, this is the video platform for Real and Real Me, which is relatively new. Real and Real Me, for those of you who are new to this podcast experience, we are upwards of 100 episodes deep. This is a brand new platform on YouTube for Real and Real Me to be there. We are officially on Podomatic. If you want to see our numbers on Podomatic, you can jump onto there. And we were ranked in the top 100 podcasts coming out of India. So make sure that you guys give us a fair shot. If you don't like what you listen to, I completely understand. Click away. It's all good. But if you do like what you hear, if you do like what you see, if you do like the information you're getting, or if you're getting enough thought-provoking moments throughout this 10-minute ordeal in which you can go out from here and gain something on an everyday basis, then I would have done my job. And with that being said, there's nothing else I needed to mention except for the fact that keep an eye on Netflix, keep an eye on Amazon Prime. There's some good comedy specials dropping. It's always a fun time to laugh it over in times of, well, times like these, times of tension and panic. But above all, we need to make sure that we keep on this. We need to maintain the fact that we need to self-isolate. We need to maintain the fact that we need to stay hygienic. We need to wash our hands multiple times a day. All of that, you guys have already heard it before. Do not take it lightly. It is something that's very, very essential right about now. This lockdown that India experienced is huge for this country. With the scale of the people that live here, considering that the roads are barren with minimal movement, it's huge. And the people are finally taking this seriously. We have the biggest chance, according to the WHO head as well, of beating this virus. And if we beat this virus, like we've beaten viruses before, we would be setting a threshold for countries with way lesser population than ours, that it can be done, and it can be done the right way. We are still under 1,000 confirmed cases in India. And if we take this seriously, it will stay that way. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Keep an eye on the space. Peace.